We've arrived at a thing. A thing has happened, and we've arrived at it, and we're still here. It's been 2 hours. Oh my god! All right. So allegedly, the nightmare is over, or allegedly, the nightmare has just begun. And hey, listen. Everything I heard for his inaugural address were promising things. Under hallucination of a good world, in which Mars exists and things like that. Okay, it's all right. It's perfectly all right. I like what I have theoretically heard. Who knows? I have now seen a screenshot where allegedly, although the Bible was present and I guess being held by Melania, Trump didn't put his hand on it. His hand was like just down. He didn't swear on any special book. He didn't swear on a book. Nobody seems to have called him on it. Nobody seems to have paused things to say, Mr. President, please put your hand on the book. Or they did, and he didn't, and then they said, well, all right then. Because it happened. It all happened. So therefore, if that conversation happened, the answer from Justice Roberts was, well, all right then. So, I like this idea that he didn't swear on any kind of book at all. I mean, maybe you should swear on the Constitution, and maybe at the very least a legal replication of the Constitution ought to be there for the Constitution that is held in the National Archive. Or, hey man, the National Archive is a fucking secure building. And it's big. Could have done it there. Right? So, we are now stepping into the game. And best case scenario is that we get 2016 again, except without all the nonsense. Because we spent 8 years fighting nonsense across 2 presidencies and like what, 4 iterations of Congress, right? Going back and forth and still dealing with every fucking shill puppet you could possibly ask for. And not that if they turn their shit around tomorrow, I would start saying government isn't slavery, right? But can you have a Congress and not a government? Has anyone ever thought about that? We got these elected people, but their authority is limited, they can't just set up government stuff. They can't create offices and things like that. They can't legislate it into reality. But what they can do is that they're telling the states that's what they gotta do. And then you have 50 different states all just doing the same thing. It creates the same effect, and all the authority is localized. That's not the worst of fucking ideas. So, to let you guys know that, right now I'm going to be copacetic about you posting political things for this stream, because the sun is in my face. I am driving. You are fairly excited in your hallucinations that you can't help, And I only hope that despite these hallucinations of how excited you think you ought to be because the puppet in office has changed shape, then at the very least, I hope that you are aware enough to be proactive in making things better along the lines of the hallucination I heard the new puppet in office make today. Okay? Can I explain it any more fluently and lucidly than that? For you, as a man whom would rather there just not be government. Alright. Would I rather gain muscles or gain... the fuck are eager? I don't know what an eager is. Are you talking about me comparing muscle to the urge of eagerness? You talking about urges? Would you rather have muscle gain or urges? Muscle gain. I'm very happy with the urges I have now. Let's see. Oh yeah, you have nowhere. You have to walk across. There is no walk path up this thing. And it's a hill. And it's a narrow inlet. It's... You know, it's not. It's like if you're a pedestrian, it's just like, good luck. It's like, fuck you, good luck. It's like, see this guy walking, it's just like... I'm like, why does he walk in the... There is no fucking path. They built this fucking place without a fucking pedestrian path to the parking lot. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, I'm back in blind. I gotta use my... I have to use my mirrors on this one. Alright. So anyway. There's a lot of stuff that he says he's putting into play. First things first, etc., etc. That sound pretty good. I mean, like, and imagine the first things firstness of it all is looking at what still needs to be here that was there when he took office day one, or what was at least still there by the end of his last day in office, right? So, and by the way, we might be seeing 8 more years here, right? Like 4 more years after that. Like, he could win again because there was a break in his continuity. He's allowed to run for president in 2028. Okay, if he would like to. But anyway. So we're going to be walking into an incredible, like this is going to be a very powerful administration. The Congress has no choice but to pretty much go. They're being forced to play normal when they don't want to fucking like make it seem like it's business as usual, because unfortunately they don't like the shift in business, which many people feel is a sign that there's going to be authentic business going on, which is why they're resistant to going back to the way they used to do things. That's the theory, right? And so don't spend any time fucking acting like that logic is based on anything. You still don't know what everything going on is based on. You're just making a guess based on reactionaries, right? How they're reacting to things, not having a full scope of what's underlying. If you think that like, oh, it's for sure a thing like this or that, it's just like, don't undercut your ability to think and actually care to look deeper, right? I think that what is going on, I think what happened with the New Jersey drones is also on a certain level the concept of, quote, looking up. Meaning that, people are paying attention. Their heads are looking up. People are looking up. People are noticing what's going on over them. Like whether there's a lord of sorts over them, an overlord, if you will. Get it? So it's looking up is also what we say you do when you want to find information. You look it up. Look it up in a library, look it up online, look it up on Google. Ask ChatGPT to look it up for you. But at least you looked into what was looked up. Right? I'm sure a lot of people will, it's a question of how much AI is going to commit itself to confirmation bias. And, at the end of the day, we have to make sure we're within the reach of ears of people to explain the problem of your confirmation bias, because I shouldn't have confirmation bias, and neither should you, right? And, the AI is going to do a great job at pulling things into context for you, right? And hopefully it doesn't stretch the imagination with too much speculative context. This is part of the reasons why I had a frustration going down the road with ChatGPT about a conversation such as 0 point energy, where I asked very fair questions and I kept getting more and more reductionist in my questions to be fair to ChatGPT. To be fair to how they set this thing up, where like maybe it just needs to know that I'm using my imagination to get to the answer, right? I tried every little angle to ask it to fucking play with me. It didn't want to play with my imagination at all. It's just like, fine, throw the disclaimer at me and then throw me the thing itself. Right? But it doesn't look at anything. It doesn't know to look. It's just like, okay, so you don't want to at least cite Nassim Haramein, because he's an internet thing. And say, Nassim Haramein got some interesting theories about this and that, but none of it's been concluded and da-da-da. But fine, at least you would have fucking said it. And giving me something interesting content is what your fucking purpose is, AI. is to give me context of a Google search. That's effectively your fucking job description as a chat interface for information. You're my computer from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Get used to it. Anyway, I am gonna go get my headspace in for some gains. And I will catch you fuckers later.